I'll be solving this question in this video. The period of a simple pendulum of length 80 cm was found to have doubled when the length of the pendulum was increased by x. The question says find the value of x. This question, we'll be solving it using the equation of the period of simple pendulum. In my previous videos, I derived this equation. So if you are just here for the first time, I would like you to make reference to that video. And the period t has been defined or derived as 2 pi square root of length of the pendulum over the value or over g, which is our acceleration due to gravity. Now, how do you use that to attack or to solve this question, to tackle this question? They give the original length of the pendulum, that is 80 centimeters. And they say the period was found to have doubled. That is, this when the length was L, let's call that when the length was 80 cm. Let's say the period is T. T was the period when the length of the pendulum was just L, that is 80 centimeters. Now they said the period is now doubled when the length of the pendulum was increased by x. How do you increase a number, a quantity, by another value? Okay, so increase the length by L means by X means we are going to say the new length of the pendulum is now 80 plus X. It's the original length plus the new length. Okay, so that is the new length. It says when the length of the pendulum was increased by X. So increase by X means you add X to the previous original length. Now, we said the new period T1, let's call that T1, is now times 2 of the original period, 2 times L. So we can call these two quantities initial parameters, and then these two will be the final parameter. And here again, we are taking 2 pi as constant and g as constant because the value of g is not given, and they didn't say anything about g. Okay, so if you try putting maybe 10 or 9 point what have you, you may not get the correct answer. So let's take g as constant so that by the time we start making substitution, these constants will cancel out. Okay, so I'm taking 2 pi over square root of g because I can split this. Law of indices allow that square root of L over g can be taken as square root of L divided by the square root of g. So you can move that under this 2 pi. I can call this k. So that my equation reduces to period is equal to k times square root of L. Okay. Alright, I can decide to square both sides if I wish to, or I can decide to work with this. So the initial condition, when the length of the pendulum was 80, we took the period as t. So I'm going to say t is equal to k square root of 80 cm. Hold on first, let me call that equation 1. All right. Now the second condition says the length is increased by x. The period is doubled. So I'm going to put 2t here is equal to k into square root of 80 plus x. Call that equation 2. I'll need to solve these two equations simultaneously. Let me start by dividing the two equations. Dividing equation 2 by 1. So let me place my division sign here. So I have this t cancels out this t. So what I have there is 1 over 2 because what is left here is now 1. When you see t cancels t, what is left here is 1 over this. My constant will cancel out. So that's why we did not use any value for g, because some students may want to try fixing something for g and say, let me take g as 10. You were not told that, so you may not use it. So that gives me what is left on the right hand side of the equation, 80 over 80 plus x. So I need to take off the square root sign. I need to square both sides, square both sides of the equation. So squaring will give me 1 over 4 on the left hand side is equal to the square takes off the square root. What I have left is 80 over 80 plus x. So the next thing, this is now algebra. You know the rules of algebra. When you are given two algebraic, that's the two expressions in fraction on either side of this equation, we can cross multiply. Cross multiply gives me 1 times 80 plus x gives me 80 plus x is equal to 4 times it gives me 320. Okay, I'll collect like terms. So what is my x? X gives me 320 minus 80, that will give me 240 centimeters. Why is it centimeters? Because I worked with centimeters. But if I want x in meters, it's going to be 2.4 divided by 100 in meters. So that is the length. So which means when the length of the bulb is increased by 2.4 meters or by 240 meters, it means the period will be multiplied by 2, be times 2 of the original period. All right, so that's it for this question. I'm going to take more questions in the next lesson. All right, see you in the next class.